Let's talk about this. We have this grain trailer here that needs a tarp. Now, let's say you have some random grain trailer in your collection or you buy one someplace, doesn't have a tarp. How are you going to accomplish this on the cheap? First, you can go get a flag that looks like this. A lot of these different little flags you use to mark utilities have a 16th inch rod. That is super easy to find. Probably go rob one out of the backyard, who knows? And then you're going to find some electrical tape like that. Or this. Now, you can layer multiple pieces of this tape, or you can use a little wide piece of this, whatever. This is just electrical tape, nothing fancy. So let's see how we're going to make this work. So we have this piece of tape right here. And then I've got a slightly longer rod, which you can cut this down to be the same width as your tape if you wish, but I'm going to leave mine long, and you'll see why in a moment. And we're going to put that right there on the tape, just like so. Now I'm going to go off camera here so I can get my fingers around it and start rolling it up. And then we'll bring it back in a second, just like this. Now, off camera, you can't see my finger turning the end of that one rod, just so I can get this to spin and roll even. But here we are, look at that. Rolling, rolling, rolling it up. Now, the one thing I would caution you, you do want to use some sort of adhesive inside this tape. I have found doing this trick is great, but over time, that this tape does unroll on itself if you don't add a little bit of glue someplace like I am here. Now, I'm going to keep rolling this up. Just like so. And then I'm going to use a little bit of Instaset like this to make sure it stays. Then I'm going to come back with a rag and wipe off all the excess glue off my mat so that doesn't cause a problem, or I get my fingers in it, because that's unhandy. And now we have our roll tarp ready to go. So we're going to bring our trailer back and start on the passenger side. Again, you can see that that tarp is just a little bit longer than the trailer, which isn't a problem. And now I'm going to start shortening up my tarp rods just a little bit. And there we have it. Look at this, looking good in the neighborhood. We love it. Might shorten those up just a little bit more. Okay, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Now I'm going to try and hide this seam a little bit, so I'm going to put this on the downside, or at least out of sight side, how do you want to say? And then use my favorite glue right here. We're going to come down here, put a bead all along that edge. And here we go, just like so. Hold it in place with my fingers, and then we'll use a little Instaset here to get it where we want it. Yeah, just like this. And you're basically done. That's all there is to it if you want to make a tarp in an open position, of course, just like that. Now, here's the bonus. What if we put one of these on here? This is something that it's pretty darn common anymore, is to have a auto roll tarp on your trailer. Now, this is how you will buy these from me. I have these in several different styles in my store. They come kind of wired together like this, so you got to cut them apart, which isn't that big a deal. And you will see here, I'm going to cut apart just a few little odd pieces of wire left over. And we'll grab those, maybe we'll grab them. We'll cut those apart, and there we have it. Now, we'll come over here, and I would also tell you, there is a motor side. So right here is where the motor is, and that's generally on the front of the trailer versus the rear. And then here is the rear side that is more static, or I don't know how these actually operate, but I do know that the motor's toward the front. So we're gonna put the motor toward the front, and I'm gonna test fit this first so we kind of get an idea of how it's looking, like so. And now we can go ahead and use our tweezers and begin gluing this thing on. Just like that. Okay, so basically I'm just taking that, there's a hole right there. If you used a smaller diameter rod, actually, you can actually make that fit that hole if you wanted to. I'm using 16th inch rod just because it's common and easy to find. So I'm gonna go right there like this. Little glue right here on the end of that. A little Insta-Set to make it go quick. Okay. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here on the end of this thing, just to give it a little more strength. And then we'll move to the back. Going to test fit that first. Okay, just a second. Ooh, got a little leftover piece of resin there. And we are done. And that is how you can add an auto roll tarp plus a tarp on your trailer. Nothing to it. This is not impossible for beginners. A lot of you can do this if you want, and you can buy the parts at Rock & H Farm Toys along with the glue and some of the tools you see. All right, go make something awesome.